Yes, and here we are on D-Day, the 6th of June. It is Friday. It is hour number 3. And what do we have going on in the world? Well, we have this dust-up between President Trump and Elon Musk that happened yesterday. Kind of interesting. Kind of maybe even entertaining. A lot of people hypothesizing whether there is an underlying effort here on the part of President Trump or on the part of Elon Musk or perhaps both of them. Remains to be seen. But this back and forth was pretty interesting. I was watching it yesterday. My best girl and I were watching portions of it and then trying to keep up. Oh, there's another one. No, there's another one. Boom, boom. Pretty wild stuff, I've got to say. And the Washington Times, your newspaper of record in Washington, D.C., your nation's capital. They've got it on their front page, of course. I assume that every newspaper in the country probably has it on their front page. I know the Washington Post has it on their front page. They're a sneering, hostile entity, not a journalistic entity. You know, their motto is, it looks like a newspaper, but it's not. But the Washington Times has the headline, Musk goes nuclear in feud with president. Connects Trump to Epstein files. And I've got an update or a clarification for you on that. The beef, they write, it's Seth MacLachlan at the Washington Times today. On the front page, the beef between Elon Musk and President Trump reached new heights Thursday as their public spat over the One Big Beautiful Bill Act turned personal. And the first quote they go with is, time to drop the really big bomb. Real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files, Elon Musk said on X shortly before the president met with the Fraternal Order of Police at the White House. That is the real reason they have not been made public, Elon Musk says. He added snarkily, have a nice day, DJT, because he was setting a fire, throwing a Molotov cocktail, a rhetorical Molotov cocktail, of course. Later, in a response to a post on X calling for Mr. Trump's impeachment, and that was Ian Miles Chong, I believe, who tweeted something about impeaching President Trump in the middle of all of this, and Elon Musk retweeted Ian Miles Chong, and Musk said, yes, just said, yes, to Ian Miles Chong, who had just mentioned impeachment. He also warned that the Trump tariffs would, quote, cause a recession in the second half of this year, end quote. Plus, he shared videos and news reports linking Mr. Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, the well-connected financier who police said killed himself in jail after he was arrested on sex trafficking charges. That's what they said. There are some irregularities involved in all of that. The White House dismissed the attacks as a case of sour grapes. This is an unfortunate episode from Elon, who is unhappy with the One Big Beautiful Bill because it does not include the policies he wanted. White House spokesperson Caroline Leavitt said, the president is focused on passing this historic piece of legislation. Now, I've got to say this back and forth was really something to watch. And while on the one hand, you might have chuckled while it was happening, you might have also kind of bit your lip a little and said, why is this happening with two adult men in the middle of this great power struggle? Amazing stuff. Mr. Trump did not respond to reporters' questions about Epstein and the FOP, the Fraternal Order of Police event, where Attorney General Pam Bondi joined him. The president called on Congress to pass the tax cut bill as soon as possible. Now, Mr. Musk made his scorched earth claim about Epstein as the president about a half an hour after Mr. Trump said that the easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it, President Trump said on Truth Social. Now, this is a wild back and forth. It is. And you got these two uniquely situated individuals, these two uniquely positioned men, with the one man with the greatest political power on the planet Earth and the other with the perhaps arguably the greatest economic power on the face of planet Earth, at least for an individual. Now, the back and forth, pretty wild, I'm going to say. But let me start with, because I did a little research on this today. It's what I do. And the good people at the New York Post, they are better than your average newspaper by an awful long shot. You know, they're reporting on Hunter Biden's laptop and all that good stuff. The New York Post did a great job of this. Their headline is, Elon Musk drops, quote, really big bomb, end quote, accuses Trump of being in Epstein files as public brawl escalates. The New York Post. Now, the New York Post reporting the context, which the Washington Post and the New York Times and CNN will never do. But I will. Elon Musk went low in his rapidly escalating feud with President Trump on Thursday, accusing him of withholding information from the public about infamous sex trafficker and big-time Democrat Jeffrey Epstein, because it would implicate Trump himself. Quote, time to drop the really big bomb, Musk posted on X, which he owns, after a multi-hour tirade against the president, real Donald Trump, in the Epstein files. Quote, that's the real reason they have not been made public, Elon Musk tweeted out. Have a nice day, DJT. And there is, from the 1980s or the 1990s, a photograph of Trump, and there's some videos, too, of Trump with Jeffrey Epstein, who was a big-time New York Democrat. And at that time, I believe Donald Trump was a big-time New York Democrat, too. The Justice Department in February released more than 100 pages of Epstein's phone contacts and flight logs in Phase 1 disclosure that disappointed Internet sleuths hoping for bombshell revelations. The Disgraced Financiers Association with Donald Trump has been known for years, as the two were videotaped and photographed together at parties in the 1990s. And the initial batch of DOJ-released files revealed the president's name in flight logs, as well as some family members, including Trump's first wife, Ivana, his daughter, Ivanka, as Epstein contacts, right? Because they're all super rich New Yorkers. And who are you going to hang out with if you're a super rich New Yorker? You can hang out with other super rich New Yorkers that have private jets and private islands and buildings with their names on them and stuff. Aides privately acknowledged that the president's association with Jeffrey Epstein likely would resurface in a fuller release of files, though they don't believe any alleged wrongdoing by Trump is described anywhere in said files. This is an unfortunate episode from Elon, who is unhappy with the One Big Beautiful Bill because it does not include the policies he wanted, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said yesterday. The president is focused on passing his historic piece of legislation and making our country great again. The contact list and flight logs appeared to be pulled directly from Epstein's Little Black Book, one of which was made public in 2021 during his accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell. She was on trial, and she's the only one that went to prison, well, other than Jeffrey Epstein, who went in there and didn't come out alive. And another one which was auctioned off, the Little Black Books, but one was made public in 2021. Isn't that amazing? The 1990-era contact list contains 349 names, 221 of which weren't included in a 2015 revealing of Epstein associates by the website Gawker. They selectively edited. Hard to believe, isn't it? But they're saying, Yeah, well, we knew that they knew each other way back when, decades ago, New York rich people. And in fact, it turns out Donald Trump's ex-wife and his daughter also were in the Epstein contact list. That doesn't mean, however, that they were part of his creepy web of sexual deviancy because, leave that to the royal family and overwhelmingly to Democrats. Although I think Donald Trump was a Democrat back then. At least Oprah thought so. Isn't that amazing? Yes, it is. All 5 names, including that of Donald Trump, are well-recognized financial and industrial figures, the online auctioneer webpage notes. So they're in the same business, they're in the same city, they're in the same economic situation, and they had each other's contacts in their little black books, in their contact books. Surprise, surprise. Online conspiracists have long speculated that high-powered clients of Epstein visited his private island at Little St. James in the Caribbean, where many young women and underage girls were allegedly abused. Democrats like to abuse little boys more than little girls, but in a pinch, Trump, former President Bill Clinton, billionaire Bill Gates, Prince Andrew of Great Britain are just some of the famous passengers the financier flew on other trips aboard his private plane, later nicknamed the Lolita Express. Underage girls and all that stuff. Lolita, that's the thing. Epstein was found dead with bed sheets around his neck in the Metropolitan Correction Center in Manhattan, August 10th of 2019, just a month after his arrest on sex trafficking charges. Last September, President Trump said he'd have no problem releasing more official files related to Epstein if elected, and including the deceased pedophile's so-called client list. He said, I'm not involved, President Trump said. I never went to his island, fortunately, but a lot of people did, President Trump said. Now, we have that going for us, and that matters. That's important, no doubt about it. And the attorney for Jeffrey Epstein, an attorney named David Schoen, S-C-H-O-E-N, David Schoen, an attorney for Jeffrey Epstein. He tweeted yesterday when Elon Musk tweeted this out. David Schoen jumped on Twitter and said, I was hired to lead Jeffrey Epstein's defense as his criminal lawyer 9 days before he died. He sought my advice for months before that. I can say authoritatively, unequivocally, and definitively that he had no information to hurt President Trump. I specifically asked him. All right? And that is yesterday from Jeffrey Epstein's attorney, David Schoen. So that's kind of a big deal. But there was and also there's the part that everybody knew about. And I just read you the story in the New York Post from yesterday because they're aware of all of this. We were aware of this all the while and have been for a long time. But time to drop the big bomb. Elon Musk going big, going dirty, and the problem he's got is that that's kind of already been litigated, already been sorted out. But I will get into the back and forth still coming up between Elon Musk and President Trump yesterday. It did get a little silly, I think, at some point. But I'll get into the back and forth with you there. Crazy town this is. Politics. What a business. Little sip of water for me. Once a day, whether I need it or not. The big wireless companies, they're pulling one over on all of us. It's time to switch to consumer cellular. Listen, I've got my consumer cellular phone. They got me a beautiful phone, and I'm getting the same fast, reliable, nationwide big wireless coverage without the big wireless costs and the tricks. It's not just about saving money on my bill. It's also about not being used by the big phone company, the big carriers, Do you even know how much data that you use every month? Most people who are 50 years old or older use less than 8 gigabytes of data in a month. But big wireless, they want to shove you into an unlimited plan because, you got to pay extra for stuff you don't use. They need you to cover the cost of 19-year-olds that are using the data all day and all night long, and you're subsidizing it. But Consumer Cellular, they set me up with a service and a phone, a beautiful phone, And it's so easy to switch. I got to tell you, all you have to do is call on the telephone like a normal person. You talk to an actual human being, not a robot. That person is based right here in the United States, not on a space platform in another galaxy. And real humans on the phone, what's that? Incredibly helpful, and it takes just about 20 minutes for you, too. So give them a call and make the switch today. Call them at 1-800-760-0702. That's 1-800-760-0702. You'll be happy you did. Yeah, and the camera I have on my phone is amazing. It's better than good. Got that. All right, President Trump and Elon Musk back and forth, still coming up. Chris here with a list of things that none of us should trust. The Washington Post, the New York Times, anything on CNN. Here's a list of things that I do trust. The Washington Times. Support real journalism for just $1 a week at washingtontimes.com/Chris. Tesla stock is up today. The stock market overall is up today. And part of that is Tesla stock being up significantly. And President Trump's jobs numbers out today. Kind of a big deal, 139,000 new jobs, beating predictions on the street, as they say, better than had been anticipated because the economy is doing very well because of President Trump. Crime rates are down. Violent crime is down. Homicide rates are down because of President Trump. That means fewer people are being murdered. Democrats, I think, are a little disappointed by that because they, of course, are, the lion's share of the murderers. Let's go to the telephones. Let's go to John calling from North Carolina. John, you're on the Chris Plante Show.
Good morning, Chris. How you doing?
I'm great, John. Thank you.
One comment I wanted to make, it was about Epstein. I'll try to make this short, but the thing that bothers me the most and a lot of other Americans is the truth about Epstein is hidden in plain sight. The one thing that him and Ghislaine Maxwell both had in common were they were both dual citizens with Israel.
Is that
and
true?
The implications of such a problem have massive repercussions, and the media is not talking about how Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell's father, Robert Maxwell, was a Mossad agent. So Israel is running covert operations to honeypot politicians and to blackmail our politicians, and that needed to be said. God bless you.
Very interesting. I had never heard that before. If true, unaware of that. But I'll take a look at it. I'd say it wasn't a very good or effective operation if it was an operation. A little soul finger. Soul finger. Well, I just did a little speed research, and I have not earned a master's degree in Ghislaine Maxwell or anything like that. But after our last caller, John out of North Carolina, did a quick look around, and it appears that Ghislaine Maxwell has citizenship in the United States, in France, and in the United Kingdom, England. But according to this, not Israel. Now, her father, on the other hand, was an interesting case who apparently had ties to Israeli intelligence, to British intelligence, MI6, and to the KGB. And then he died under mysterious circumstances, drowning in the Mediterranean Sea off of a yacht. Czechoslovakian, Jewish, escaped the Nazis, all that stuff. But he had ties, at least, to the father, Ghislaine Maxwell's father, Robert Maxwell, born in Czechoslovakia. But that's another rabbit hole for another day. So I don't know. I mean, look, John, we speak free speech here. But I think that the sourcing on a couple of your claims may be a bit thin. But I'm going to take another look, too. because it's a funny world out there, no doubt about it. I don't see any Israeli citizenship for Ghislaine Maxwell, and I don't necessarily see ties to Israeli intelligence, Mossad, either. But, let's waterboard a few people and see what we can learn. God, I miss waterboarding, don't you? That was I think that was my first T-shirt. I'd rather be waterboarding. And I talked about that on the radio, and then somebody else, because it struck me as funny, and then somebody else started producing the I'd rather be waterboarding T-shirts, and I had one sent to me like that because it was fun. Fun. All right, let's get back to the news of the day. And President Trump again is like shrugging it. Yeah, I knew Jeffrey Epstein. And Ghislaine Maxwell is she still in prison? Because Jeffrey Epstein went to jail and he didn't come out alive. And then Ghislaine Maxwell is the only other person who I believe who was thrown in jail for sex trafficking of a minor and transporting a minor, the intent to engage in criminal sexual activity. Democrat Party stuff, New York, and 3 counts of conspiracy. Yeah, she was sentenced to 20 years in federal prison. 20 years. Now, she's guilty of everything she did. Maybe she deserves it. But if that were a Mossad honeypot operation, probably didn't go as well as hoped. I'm thinking. Yeah, and her father, mysterious death and all that. Don't get involved in things like that. Your life will go much better. Just like your mom told you. You're hanging out with the wrong people. That can continue late in life, too. All right, let's get back to the, because kind of a big deal. The Jeffrey Epstein, Donald Trump back and forth. Musk goes nuclear. I said nuclear. I always do that mockingly. Musk goes nuclear in feud with president. Connects Trump to Epstein files. The good people at the Washington Times with the story, and Seth MacLachlan. The beef, it's called a beef, between Elon Musk and President Trump reached new heights Thursday as their public spat over the One Big Beautiful Bill Act turned personal. And it did get pretty wild pretty fast. And these guys, I guess they're just, above it all, or assume that they can hover above it all. But this back and forth was really something. And the tweets and the Truth Social post by President Trump. Elon Musk tweeted yesterday at a little after noon. It was 12:19, lunchtime. Elon Musk tweeted, whatever, keep the EV/solar incentive cuts in the bill, even though no oil and gas subsidies are touched. Very unfair. But ditch the mountain of disgusting pork in the bill. In the entire history of civilization, there has never been legislation that both big and beautiful. I think he left out the word is. People do that when they're typing with their thumbs. In the entire history of civilization, there has never been legislation that both big and beautiful. Everyone knows this. Either you get a big and ugly bill or a slim and beautiful bill. Slim and beautiful is the way, Elon Musk said. And the president was having none of this. And he was really busy yesterday, too. A lot of stuff, meeting with the German chancellor, Herr Chancellor, Merz, and all of that. And he had the Fraternal Order of Police. And I think he was on the phone with Xi Jinping yesterday, the Chinese communist murderer from Beijing. But remarkable stuff. President Trump, he tweeted, and Doge designer tweeted, Trump, I'm very disappointed with Elon. I've helped him a lot. He knew the inner workings of the bill better than anyone sitting here. He had no problem with it. All of a sudden, he had a problem, and he only developed the problem when he found out we're going to cut EV mandate. Going to cut, again, leaving words out because we're going to cut the EV mandate, right? And amazing stuff. They got, in 2021, Elon Musk supported eliminating EV tax credits and gas oil subsidies, calling Biden's EV spending bill unnecessary. He made a similar comment in June 2025, that is very recently, of course, about the big, beautiful bill. Elon Musk retweeted that and said, false. This bill was never shown to me even once and was passed in the dead of night so fast that almost no one in Congress could even read it. That's essentially true. They present these gigantic bills, and it's actually the law. You're supposed to give them 72 hours or something to read the bill, which still might make it impossible with thousands of pages of technical jargon, but never mind that. And then as the noontime hour went on, kind of amazing, at 12:46 p.m., Elon Musk said on Twitter, "Without me, Trump would have lost the election. Dems would control the House, and the Republicans would be 51-49 in the Senate." That's, wow, okay, that's true stuff. And Elon Musk tweeted, "Such ingratitude." Well, this is actually in response to one of President Trump's. President Trump tweeted back, "Elon was wearing thin," which he put in quotation marks. "I asked him to leave. I took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted. That he knew for months I was going to do. And he just went crazy," President Trump tweeted. Elon Musk responded, "Such ingratitude. Such ingratitude." Isn't that amazing? President Trump comes back. "The easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's government subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it." All right, so this is going to, and I'm watching this. My best girl is watching this. We're at home. We're watching this. Amazing stuff. And Elon Musk then retweeted this back and forth and President Trump's comments, the pretty amazing stuff. President Trump commenting, "I cannot believe that Republicans are extending the debt ceiling. I'm a Republican and I'm embarrassed." Right? And Elon Musk is retweeting that. Yeah, these are Elon Musk is retrieving older President Trump tweets from, well, let's see, that's from oh gosh, that one goes all the way back to 2012 that Elon Musk is retweeting. "No member of Congress should be eligible for re-election if our country's budget is not balanced. Deficits not allowed," President Trump tweeted in 2012. And Elon Musk retweeted these decade-old and more President Trump tweets, and Elon Musk just said, "Wise words." And then Elon Musk said yesterday in retweeting these 13-year-old tweets from President Trump about balancing the budget, Elon Musk said, "Where's the man who wrote these words? Was he replaced by a body double? Was he replaced by a body double?" You know, now he's just being a goof and having fun because, you know, he's earned $400 billion. So I think he gets to say whatever he wants and not worry about it. But this went on and on yesterday, and it was pretty crazy, I got to say, in the 3 o'clock hour. Elon Musk saying, "Time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they've not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT, Donald John Trump." And I shared with you the New York Post story and the follow-up on all of that. Really remarkable things going on here. And then Donald Trump tweeted, "I don't mind Elon turning against me, but he should have done so months ago. This is one of the greatest bills ever presented to Congress. It's a record cut in expenses, $1.6 trillion, and the biggest tax cut ever given. If this bill doesn't pass, there will be a 68% tax increase, and things far worse than that. I didn't create this mess. I'm just here to fix it. This puts our country on a path to greatness. Make America great again," he said. Elon Musk retweeted that and added, "Mark this post for the future. The truth will come out." Boy, I got to tell you, this is, you know, social media isn't, as I like to say, it's not social at all. Am I right? Of course, I'm right about that. It's the opposite of social media. It's anti-social media. And, of course, tone is lost and everything else. Amazing stuff. Now, Ian Miles Chong very active, and I've followed him for many years, Ian Miles Cheong on Twitter. Lots of interesting stuff from Ian Miles Cheong. Ian Miles Cheong weighs in, President versus Elon. Who wins? My money's on Elon. Trump should be impeached, and J.D. Vance should replace him. Now, Elon Musk, and, forget about Ian Miles Cheong. He gets to say what he wants, but because it's America. But that seems to be a bit of an overreaction, I think I'd say. But Elon Musk retweeted Ian Miles Cheong and just said, yes. So there's Elon Musk apparently endorsing the impeachment of Donald Trump and his being replaced by J.D. Vance. Now it's getting crazy and madness everywhere, just madness. Elon Musk says the Trump tariffs will cause a recession in the second half of this year. So this isn't going very well at all, is it? No. Now we're talking impeachment and recession and everything else. Donald Trump tweeted, the easiest way to save money or budget billions and billions, terminate Elon Musk, right? And the subsidies and buying the Teslas and all of that stuff. And Elon Musk responded again, in light of the president's statements about cancellation of my government contracts, SpaceX will begin decommissioning its Dragon spacecraft immediately. Now, he has his own space program, and his rockets are the only way we can get astronauts and cosmonauts, Russians, to the International Space Station and back. And he's saying, oh, okay, you're going to cancel my government contracts? I'll leave everybody stranded in space because I'm the only person that can get people back from the International Space Station. Pretty wackadoodle-doo, isn't it? Somebody named Alaska on Twitter says, this is a shame, this back and forth. You're both better than this. Cool off and take a step back for a couple of days. Elon Musk responded, good advice. Okay, we won't decommission Dragon. This is proof that we never fully grow up. Although I got to say, I was talking to my best girl about this, and I did say yesterday, I think that I've reached the point where I might be the calmest president of the United States. I could be president of the United States, and I'd be better than Joe Biden. I'd be better certainly than Barack Obama. I'm on our side, just for openers. But this whole thing has been wackadoodle-doo. It's been pretty nuts. And the brakes, I think, have been tapped. Although President Trump, I believe today, it was suggested he should talk to Elon Musk on the phone, and he said, no, I don't think so. I don't think I'm going to talk to him. Let's grab another phone call because it's Friday, and we're almost out of time again. I can't believe how fast 3 hours goes by. Let's go to John calling from the great state of Kentucky. John, you're on the Chris Plante Show.
Hey, Chris, love your show, love your satire. You make the bad news palatable. Hey, I don't recall Elon's name being on the ballot, and he had zero influence on my vote. Mm-hmm. And I did not wake up Election Day and ask myself, who is Elon going to vote for? That never happened.
Right.
And the other thing is he is technically not qualified to sit at the Resolute desk or anywhere near the Oval Office. He's not qualified.
Well, to be president, certainly. Yeah, he's not legally qualified or entitled or able to be president of the United States. Now, if the president invites him in, he can hang out there. But you're right, he could never be president, certainly, because he's South African.
Well, thanks for all the satire. You keep me laughing instead of crying.
Well, thank you, buddy. Yeah, that's my favorite thing to hear, John. It honestly is. And, yeah, and you're absolutely right, of course. Elon Musk was not on any ballot anywhere. He's not a politician. He's never worked on a piece of legislation before. He doesn't know about politics, and that's fine. But the mere fact that he's the richest man in the world doesn't mean that we should all listen to him on political issues. And look, President Trump had a hard time learning about Washington politics his first time around in his first term. I think he's much more comfortably seated the second time around, much more. And he had a good time inviting Elon in. I think, Elon, in the end, it's my hope that this whole back and forth will actually produce a better bill out of the Senate. save us more money, put us on a better track. I'm not sure that's going to happen because the Democrats have the Lizard King and Hakeem the terrorist, and they're not on our side. They'd rather blow up the world than lose one seat in the Senate. For some inexplicable reason, President Trump got on the phone this morning with Dana Bash, a Democrat Party activist whose ex-husband was a corrupt Obama administration official that signed on to that felonious 51 letter lying about the Hunter Biden laptop. But President Trump on the phone with Dana Bash this morning. And then Dana Bash went running into the studio, waving papers in the air. I talked to President Trump. I talked to President Trump. And it sounded like this.
All right, we do have breaking news this morning. What is President Trump's latest thinking about his explosive feud with Elon Musk? Well, joining us now, someone who just got off the phone with the president. CNN chief political correspondent Dana Bash joins us now by phone. Dana, what did he tell you?
Good morning, John. Well, he said that he's, quote, well, here's exactly what he said, quote, I'm not even thinking about Elon. He's got a problem. The poor guy's got a problem. He said he won't be speaking to him for a while, but he said he wishes Elon Musk well.
Now, I guess maybe President Trump was talking about the, well-established claim, I'm not sure, that Elon Musk likes to do a pharmaceutical drug called ketamine, which is apparently done in extracurricular fashion, not prescribed by doctors, by many people, use it as a recreational drug. Kind of amazing. I don't know, but Dana Bash came running out, and she's on her cell phone. She's running down the hall. She's in the elevator. They couldn't wait for her to get there because President Trump, they're having a bit of a tiff. I suspect that by the time we reconvene on Monday, things will be much better. Now, there's so many stories I want to get to because the Democrats give me so many. But there is a Democrat in New York who is a socialist in reality, Zoran Mamdani. He's a jihadi. He refuses to recognize the right of the state of Israel to exist. And he's running for mayor. He's running for mayor of New York. As a Democrat, he's a socialist. He's an Islamist, Jew hater, genocidal psychopath, a Nazi, and the Democrat Party, they dance with him.